Spectrum. And he was starting 24th because we kind of screwed up a setup for him in qualifying. But he moved up 9 spots in the rain, and now he's 15th. And then we've got the brand new driver, Austin Holtgravy, at the back of the field, who's, again, my brother, who's went to driver school last weekend.
Nice.
And is literally the first race he's ever done was this morning in the rain.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. But now look at how tight they bunch up here. This is unbelievable. I loved it in the first race as they come down to turn 12. They were so tight even in the rain, and now they're even tighter here as they come down to take this green flag at Mission Foods Atlanta Speed Tour. This is unbelievable. Formula Regional Promotions. Here they come. You can see the Mission flags in the background.
They're 5 wide.
Ooh, that's scary going into Mission Foods turn 1. You can see Eli Navarro trying to duck in there as they go up the hill. 5 wide, but like 6 deep, Dustin.
Oh, this is crazy fielding. Oh, we lost one there.
Stay on it.
Oh,
On it.
oh.
I don't know if that's going to be a lot of damage, but that might mean a double yellow as they come out there.
That's in a pretty precarious position.
Yeah, it looks to me like Jonathan Lee is in the front, then Mateo Naranjo is in second in that yellow 80. Porter Aiken, Callum Baxter, Eli Navarro, Robert Perona. We believe that's the order, and you can see that drafting is very important in this class, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's Eli going there trying to get up into third now. He's Porter's going around the outside.
That's
Porter up to second.
65 of Callum Baxter as they go into 3-dimensional surfaces. You can see the double yellow there on our light board to your right. So there's a double yellow. We have Flagtronics here. So we have flaggers and Flagtronics trying out a new safety feature. We've got the Sebring International Race Crew with Billy and Matt Muha out there. All the way up from Sebring, Florida. They've had a busy week.
Yeah.
And to clean up that car at turn 1, it's not that we think that car has a lot of damage. It's just he couldn't start back up, and we don't want another car going into that car. So that is the reason for this double yellow. So while we're here, let's go through the grid and talk a little about these drivers. So Jonathan Lee is in first. Sebastian Mateo Naranjo. I'm trying to pronounce that right, so let me know if we were getting that right.
I think you're getting closer.
Okay, yeah. I'm not good at this. I was never hooked on phonics. Porter Aiken, Callum Baxter, Eli Navarro, Robert Perona, Theodore Burns, Dylan DeFonts, Misha Goikberg, Jack Sullivan, David Adorno, Karsten DeFonts, Timothy Steele, Joe Colasaco, and BJ Shaw. And now we're going to go to a commercial, and we'll be right back.
Ridge Speed Tour returns to Ridge Motorsports Park June 9th through 11th, featuring the Trans Am Series Western Championship, the Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, Oregon and Northwest Region SCCAs, and the Emerald Cup. Saturday, take part in the Haggerty Cars and Caffeine Car Show with Parade Labs. You do not want to miss the Ridge Speed Tour June 9th through 11th. Family ticket discounts and camping is available. Children 12 and under are free. For tickets, simply go to ridgemotorsportspark.com.
All right, we're back, and I hear that we're going to have a replay possibly of that incident. So if we do, Dustin, walk us through this replay.
Absolutely. So you can see there's 6 wide, 6 deep. This is a little wild. And I'm thinking he just ran out of room here. We're a little out of frame on where the car came from. But, yeah, you see it just basically was 3 wide there. And where the track narrowed up, he had nowhere to go. Once you drop 2 wheels off of that, you're kind of gone. The road out of turn 1 goes uphill. Yeah. So, yeah, you kind of, if you drop a wheel there, you got no chance to pull it back on.
And I can tell you this from experience, you get into that grass that's wet, you actually speed up no matter how hard you are on the binders. You actually speed up into the wall. So he did the right thing by keeping his wheels straight and just trying to woe it down instead of trying to save it, because then sometimes they come back across the whole field. But we're under yellow. The crew that's going to pull this car out is usually really fast as they go through. But we stopped at BJ Shaw. So we've got David H. Livingston Jr., Scott Rubenzer, Charles Ante, Ken, how do I say that?
Honestly, I know Ken, and I think it's Boucleon.
All right.
But I'm probably wrong.
No, that sounds good. Bob Reed, Steve Jenks, Robert Albani, Christopher Kearse, Michael
Buccicelli.
You say that.
Buccicelli.
All right.
Again,
Cooper
I'm
Shipman,
probably wrong.
Sam Lockwood, Dave Petsko, Michael Scanlon, James Morgan, Austin Holtgravy. whole gravy.
Yeah, no
and
V,
Kevin
but...
Brumbaugh. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us here on the Speed Tour TV, we like to have a lot of fun. This is Vintage Racing live stream that FRP is with us, so I'm sorry if I'm offending people. We are going to take the race seriously, but while we're under double yellow, if you have any insights on this great field of cars that Boy from New York is saying, please give us some insights on these. And Boy from New York, one of our experts, is saying, yeah, that was just an avoidance. I believe he's right.
Absolutely.
I don't think he had anywhere to go, but probably kept it from being a 3-car incident. It stinks that he or she is off, but so yeah, good call there, Boy from New York.
I'm kind of hoping this safety car calms these guys down a little bit because, yeah, they were getting really racy really fast. This is a long race and a long season, and 6 wide going into turn 1 at Road Atlanta on race 2 of the season is a little crazy. Yeah, but you know, these cars are fun. So most of these cars in the field, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Ben, but are actually Honda motors. So it's the class was known as Formula Ford for decades because they had that 1.6 liter Ford motor. But they a few years ago, Honda came in and decided they could build a motor as well, and it's they have a package they can put in this car, and the majority of the new cars being built, all the MyGals, Spectrums, all that kind of stuff, are all the Honda motor now, which is why it's Formula 1600 as opposed to Formula Ford.
Well, Hugh Esterson is saying a well-deserved stream, so...
Yep, Hugh used to drive these cars.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Thanks for joining us. And the H is soft, like the H on Howard or Hope, so Naraho.
Yeah.
Okay. See, we've got some great insight going here. So let's start a war here on YouTube. What's the best Formula Ford engine, a Honda or a Ford? It's kind of weird to say that.
I'll be honest with you, it depends on what year it is because they've been rewriting the rules every year. For the few years there, it was the Honda when it first came in. This season, they opened up the Ford rules, and if you're willing to spend the money, you can build a killer Ford engine. And that's Jonathan Lee up front. That's a Ford engine in that Swift DB6.
Oh, wow.
And he's followed by a whole fleet of Hondas behind him.
And I'm guessing, just like in any other form of racing, people kind of follow the leader. So if the leader's running this, they're like, I want to run what they're running. Yeah. And sometimes they don't realize in such a spec class, sometimes that's just driver talent.
Well, they've done a really good job of equalizing the engines. And honestly, the biggest selling point on the Honda is longevity. These Hondas, it is well known that a lot of these teams that run at the front, the Pelfrey cars, the Rice cars, they've got engines in those cars that are 5, 6, even I've been told almost 10 years old and still running strong. So the Ford motors needed rebuilt a lot, and that was the downfall to that side.
So I'm hearing from Grand Prix Studio that it's a fit engine, a Honda Fit engine.
That's correct.
Yeah, those are great engines. Yeah, those will go forever. So this is so much fun to watch these cars. This is the only bank turn here. Dustin, I know that you're excited to be up here because you've come up here with me with the vintage stuff. So I'm going to let you call the restart as they come in here.
Here we go.
Let's see what you got, Dustin Hodges. Bob Perona builds and maintains, races his own car.
Yes,
Duke can drive the wheels off of any car. Also a great driver coach. Managed a USAC midget team for a while. That's from Alfred Galeridge.
That's
so we've got some great experts out here.
And he's a coach for a couple IndyCar drivers.
Wow.
So he's a very good coach, very good coach.
See, I love this insight because it's very tough when all these just different mixed groups, you can't be an expert on everything. I like my old British sports cars, so you know you're not going to really tell me too much about an MG midget or something like that, but I don't know these open wheel cars.
Well, I love the info here coming in the live stream. A lot of things that are popping up, I think in my mind, it's just become common sense to me, but I forget that it's not for everybody. And there's little details like I kept saying the Honda, and the Honda Fit, of course it is.
Yeah.
And so thank you to everybody for throwing us that stuff because it's definitely helping everybody understand this class.
So it looks like they're lining up, so Dustin, take us away.
Pace car is in. We've got Jonathan Lee bringing him down to the green here, and we are green flag racing. Jonathan got a great jump there. Looks like he's trying to pull away from Puerto Rican. Eli Navarro in second. Callum Baxter in third. And we're looking like they're going to stay single file this time through turn 1. Looking a little cleaner. Looks like Perona's popping out there trying to go around one of the Rice cars. And looks like we're going to make a clean lap 1 this time around. There's Charles Ante in the 26. And up into 3.
Oh, look at them going
right
to
those curbs.
Eli Navarro made a pass there at that curb.
Yes, he did. He jumped over Porter there. I think Eli is hungry after this morning. He is going to go hard this race. He's already on the back of Jonathan Lee. And that's the thing. You really can't break away in these cars. The draft will pull you right back up. And I think that's what Lee's going to see here. But again, I come back to if these guys will work together, they can make it a 2-horse race.
And what you mean there is like drafting partners, like we see in Miatas. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're looking for dance partners, and they can go 2 cars or 3 cars can go faster. But like he's pulling a gap there.
Like NASCAR a few years ago when it was 2x2. But yeah, look at that. We've got, I believe that's Jonathan Lee out front there.
Yeah. And it looks like Porter Aitken's trying to get back at Eli Navarro, and it was Porter and Eli into this corner they're coming to right now. The Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers 10A.
Whoa, Eli going inside.
Let's see what happens. So he took the other line this time.
Yeah, I think he learned from before. And it looks like, Jonathan Lee still out front. Looks like Eli's going to lose a couple positions here, getting shuffled in the draft.
So coming down the main straight into Mission Foods turn 1. Some great shots here from Greenlight and Rob Herdman up there in camera position 1. Unbelievable focus and zoom as we see Eli go outside now, back on that, I believe that's Mateo, isn't it, in the yellow car?
Yes. And then Baxter's in the white, I believe.
I love how it looks like motorcycle racing, how they're in such a symmetrical line as they go over these curbs. This is some real talent we're seeing here in F1600.
And these cars run on the ragged edge. To make these things at the front like this, you can see them. They're just dancing all over the racetracks. They're never locked in. They're sliding all over the place. These cars have no wings to help them stick to the ground. They do have a little bit of downforce from the general build of the car, but it is very mechanical grip. And to drive them fast, you have to drive on the limit.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, the momentum. So if you miss your mark by 5 feet, you might lose 300 feet.
Oh, absolutely. You can't miss apexes in this if you want to run at the front, that's for sure.
Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in that front group there. And right now I'm thinking the car in third has the advantage.
Yeah, it looks like it. They're both going to go around the outside. 3 wide down the back straight.
Oh no.
See how this plays out.
And it's good group racing throughout the field too, which is so much fun to watch. So Eli holds it, right?
That's Porter to the front.
So Eli's in second.
Yep, Aiken in first.
So glad you're here.
And Lee's in third. That's Bob Perona in fourth. Naranjo in fifth. Not sure who's in the silver and red car, but that's Baxter in seventh.
Wow. And this is going to keep flip-flopping the whole time, ladies and gentlemen, as they come into Mission Foods turn 7. And like I said, look at this. There's good group racing throughout the field. Look at this back group of 4 cars. This is really fun to watch. And obviously inboard shocks on these cars, and those suspension arms just look almost like they shouldn't be able to support the weight of these cars.
Well, you know, it's funny enough, you see people all the time trying to help us push these cars around, and as strong as that suspension is to hold that car together the way it sits, if you push down in the center of one of those A-arm suspension pieces, you can bend it in half with just your own weight. So they're strong in only one direction.
That's awesome. So I'm hearing from Chris Stifler, we've seen him in movies, says, welcome to blocking school. So I don't see any blocking out there. I just see good drafting and racing. How about you? You see any blocking?
You know, it's...
you can plead the fifth. I don't want to get you in trouble.
I see a lot of interesting car placement. I see a lot of wide race cars. I don't know, it depends on what your definition of blocking is. Different series have different rules, but you know, the general census is one move, and if that move is to go down the inside, that moves down the inside.
Ooh. Hard onto the brakes into the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers, turn 10, turn 10A and 10B as they come up the hill, and basically you lose your weight. You almost go zero gravity there.
Oh, yeah. So I've heard stories from guys back in the day before they added 10A and 10B. They would get air under the bridge and actually leave the ground. That was apparently why they added the chicane.
A blind turn, nonetheless, either. So we've got Joe Calasaco now in first, followed by Scott Rubenzer. Oh, sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. Eli Navarro in first, Porter Aiken second, Robert Perona third, Jonathan Lee fourth, Jack Sullivan in fifth. And it looks like they're going straight downhill from that shot there as they come into Bridge Hall Bend at turn 5. This is really fun racing, Dustin.
Listen, they put on a great show, and that's the Formula 1600 series has always been like this. You really, if you want to know where you stack up, this is where you show up. Like we were talking about earlier, you've got Misha Gorkberg, who wins LMP3, wins LMP2 races. You've got Bob Perona, who's a coach, and they're out there running in the middle of this pack. Now that I say that, it looks like we've lost Goikhberg off the timing chart of that top 15 here.
So that's Kevin Brumbaugh in that 86, having a great race back there as they come into three-dimensional services turn 6.
That is the 93 of Austin Holtgravy coming down there, running towards the back of the field, but getting a lot of good practice here this weekend. And looks like Bob Perona is out front by a lot here.
Hold a pretty big gap, but yeah, seat time is so important, and especially in race conditions like this, because seat time by yourself is one thing, but seat time against another driver is a totally different thing.
They almost went 3 wide up into turn 3.
Which is a blind turn. Like, they can't really see over the crest of that hill here. But we're looking at Robert Perona. You said he's a driver coach, builder, and out here just showing these drivers how to do it. And you can see just the slip angle of these tires. These skinny tires, it looks like they designed a car that would be difficult to drive to really train drivers how to drive well.
I think that's it, and even beyond that, they actually have a small tread pattern built into them to even take away more grip. Not a tread like you'd find on a street tire, but just these little blocks that are missing around the tire to just take a little more grip away, to, make it a little more challenging.
Now let's see what they're doing on the look at the second pack there, those 3. You can see the one car pulling out, but doesn't seem to quite have it.
Yeah, and again, if those 3 cars could lock up together, nose to tail, and run these 2 leaders down very quickly.
Eli going into 10A.
Cuts across into the brake zone. Not going to let Perona have the outside there.
No, and you know Eli, after that first race, if you don't know, he spun into the gravel there on the last lap to basically lose the race. Was in second, side by side with the leader, spun out, so now he is wanting to really win this race as they come into Mission Foods turn 1 here at the Mission Foods Atlanta Speed Tour. Look at this side by side. What do you think, Dustin?
You know, I got to say, I think age and wisdom might play out on this one. There's a lot of racecraft in that red car there. Eli Navarro is a very fast driver, but you know, when you're talking about somebody who's the guy in front of him who's got decades of experience at training drivers. So it's when it comes down to the last race, it's if I had to put my money on anybody, it's going to be that guy at the front, which is insane because he's not actually even in the F1600 class. He's in the F1600 Masters, which are supposed to be the guys back further in the field, right?
Come on, man. And I'm seeing that they're saying now that he's up front, now we'll see some blocking. So let's see. We might see some textbook blocking here.
On that one, I have absolutely no comment.
Yeah. But Eli Navarro, 18 years old from Indianapolis, to see what he can do here. I know that he's turned a lot of people's heads. People have stopped me in the paddock this weekend and said, keep an eye out on this driver, the 01 at Eli Navarro. So it looks like they're slowing down. Yellow flag.
Yeah,
okay, we got a caution.
Pace car. Pace car's sitting down there still, hadn't rolled out, but
look at that. We've got
wreckers rolling.
Great drivers here that saw the caution before we did. So we appreciate that from our drivers. Slowed it down.
I think that's because of this new in-car flagtronic system that we're running this weekend. This is the first weekend that we've adapted this in the FRP series, and it actually gives you a thing in the car that starts flashing yellow when the track goes yellow. So before, as drivers, you always had to look for a flag or rely on your crew to tell you. And that is the 02 Rice Race Prep car.
Looks like it's three-dimensional services group turn 6. Right there, there's a little.
That would be Misha Goikhberg. That was we lost him a while ago, and car doesn't look like it has any damage. Oh yes, we do. We have a radiator sticking out of the side pod on that car, so there's been some wheel-to-wheel contact somewhere with Goikhberg. I'm not sure who else would have. See if we can see any damage on any of the cars coming by, but yeah, these guys do get racy and wheel to wheel, and with the radiators are actually in the side pods that are sticking out the side of these cars. So very little contact can put a hole in your water system and end your day very quickly.
Yeah, a shootout would be fun. We're hoping this goes back to green. Boy from New York is saying a shootout would be fun. We saw Robert Perona using his tear-off on his helmet there going into Mission Foods turn one. So now the drivers are kind of relaxing. Are they talking to their teams? They're feeling every little noise and vibration. These are sequential shifting?
H pattern.
Standard H?
H pattern. It's a 4-speed H pattern. You don't really use the clutch much. You don't have to. It's a racing gearbox, but yeah. And right now, that's what the drivers, the crews are trying to calm their drivers down right now, because the drivers are amped right now. And if you spend a few laps behind safety car, still in race mindset, you can kind of get a little jumpy when things go back to green. So yeah, teams are just trying to calm them down. Think about the race. Think about a plan. Think about the restart. Keep your tires hot. Keep your brakes hot. And prepare for this restart, because we may not go back green, but if we do, these guys need to be ready to go.
Well, actually, I'm hearing from race control it's going to take them a while to get off of there, so they are going to end next lap under checkered flag. Unfortunately, we can get some boos from our comments here on YouTube, but we've got some great racing coming up after this race. We've got Group 9, 11, and our brand new, the first race ever of our Prototype Sprint Series Association. Some really cool cars in there.
They are very cool looking. I saw one in the paddock earlier today. It looks like a spaceship.
Actually, I just heard we're not covering that race next. We're covering Group 10 because $1 Million Bill Elliott's going to be racing with us in stock cars. So Bill Elliott is going to be here. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville.
I was looking forward to that. We've got one of our cars going out next session is the S1600 from Australia in Group 9.
We'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, that V8 in the back of an open wheel car is kind of cool to see. So
that's crazy. So it looks like we're going to go Robert Perona, followed by Eli Navarro, followed by Porter Aiken in third, Jack Sullivan in fourth, and Jonathan Lee fifth. Our next race has been confirmed, is Group 10 with Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, and getting from RV who won. So Robert Perona right now, you know, these are I don't know if these are the technical wins, but Robert Perona is going to finish first if he can just coast soapbox derby his way down this hill, basically.
Yep, looks like Perona's got a few wins in this series under his belt, and you know, it just proves that you don't have to be a 16-year-old with aspirations for F1 to come and have some fun and win races in this F1600 series.
But even though it's disappointing to have to finish under yellow, what a great race. Really seeing some great racecraft from all of these drivers, young and older.
Yeah,
really cool to see. So really fun to see here at the Mission Food Speed Tour. And you can see some of that. But ladies and gentlemen, that does it here for the F1600 for this race. We're going to break for some great commercials. We'll be back with SVRA Group 10 with Bill Elliott.